In the dense, whispering woods of Blackthorn Hollow, where the fading light of dusk filtered through the gnarled branches of ancient oaks, their leaves rustling with secrets carried on the wind like the murmur of forgotten voices, casting long, eerie shadows that danced like spectres across the moss-covered path, a tapestry of darkness and light, and the air carried the earthy scent of damp soil mingled with the faint metallic tang of impending rain, a harbinger of storms to come. The year 2025 unveiled a harrowing truth for a young woman steeped in local legend, her life a fragile thread of trust woven with hope, deception stitched with pain, and the faint glimmer of redemption flickering like a lantern in the fog that clung to the trees, a fragile beacon in the gathering gloom, tucked into a secluded valley surrounded by towering trees that loomed like silent guardians watching over the land, their bark scarred with the passage of time, and scattered cottages with smoke curling from chimneys, their tendrils rising into the frigid air like offerings to the sky. Blackthorn Hollow was a place where the wild beauty of the forest hid a tapestry of buried grudges that festered in the undergrowth, forbidden desires that pulsed like a hidden heartbeat, and tales that echoed through generations. A realm where the Red Riding Hood story was not just myth but a lived reality waiting to unravel with every step, a narrative etched into the soil. At the heart of this unfolding nightmare was Ruby Harrow, an 18-year-old with a spirit as vibrant as her crimson cloak, a symbol of her lineage, her hazel eyes masking a well of suppressed dread that churned like a river beneath the surface, her life unraveling after years of a romance tested by distance that stretched like a chasm between them, and a growing unease that left her heart trembling with every beat, seeking solace with her grandmother, Ellar Harrow, a 65-year-old storyteller whose wisdom was etched in the lines of her face like the rings of a tree, a map of her years. Ellar lived in a cabin deep in the woods, its walls lined with faded tapestries that whispered of old tales passed down through the ages, their threads worn thin, while Ruby's boyfriend, Theo Vance, a 19-year-old woodsman with a charming smile that hid a restless soul, roamed the forest with his axe, its blade a constant companion, and her cousin Mara Vale, a 20-year-old herbalist with a sleek glint in her eye that hinted at secrets, shared their family's legacy, a bond tainted by ambition. The shattering moment struck on July 25, 2025, at 5:36 EEST, the current time, as the hollow grew silent under the weight of twilight, a hush that preceded the storm, when Ruby, delivering a basket to her grandmother along the winding path, stumbled upon a horror that would fracture her world into jagged pieces, a break that reverberated through the trees like a wolf's cry. Ruby's life had been a blend of folklore and reality, her days spent wandering the woods with tales of Red Riding Hood echoing in her mind, her relationship with Theo a bond forged in the woods' quiet paths where their footsteps sensed, now eroding under his frequent absences that left her lonely. His ex-swings, a distant echo that faded into the distance, a sound that once comforted now mocked her. Solitude, her grandmother's cabin, once filled with the warmth of stories that wrapped around her like a blanket, and the crackle of the fire that danced in the hearth, had grown heavy with unspoken tension, a weight that pressed on her chest, the air thick with the scent of old wood and older secrets. On that fateful evening, as the clock struck 5:36 EEST, aligning with 10:36 set, the mist thickening as dust settled over the hollow like a shroud, the light dimming with every passing second, Ruby trudged the path, her cloak catching on thorns that tore at the fabric, a symbol of her unraveling life, and noticed a hidden camera nestled in the crook of a tree, its lens a cold-eyed watching. Activating it with trembling fingers, she saw a live feed of Theo in a raw, explicit embrace with Mara near the cabin, their bodies entwined in a betrayal that cut deeper than any blade, the time stamp searing her vision like a brand, a moment frozen in time. The air grew thick with shock, her basket spilling apples into the mud, their red skins a stark contrast to the earth, a lantern flickering out as if surrendering to the darkness, its light snuffed like her hope. Ruby's cry pierced the silence, a sound that rose above the rustling leaves, her cloak tearing as she staggered back, Thea's guilty glance catching the camera's eye, and Mara's smirk frozen on the screen, a visage of triumph that haunted her. The aftermath unleashed a storm of anguish that swept through Blackthorn Hollow like a wolf's howl that carried on the wind, its force shaking the trees and burying the past under a deluge of pain, a flood that drowned their peace. Ruby fled to Allura's cabin, her mind replaying the feed with every step that faltered on the muddy path, the mist blinding her vision like a veil of tears that obscured her way, a curtain of grief, while Theo, ashamed, his face etched with regret, admitted the affair began during a herb-gathering trip when the forest grew still, a silence that bred intimacy, spiraling into a passion that consumed him like a wildfire, a confession that fell from his lips like leaves scattered in the wind, carried away by the storm that mourned with her. Nora, defiant with a heart hardened by ambition, sent a taunting note that dripped with venom, its words a poison that seared her skin, claiming their bond was inevitable, a destiny written in the stars, her arrogance a blade that cut deeper. Ruby sought refuge with Allura, whose cabin became a haven where the scent of dried herbs offered scant comfort, a fragrance that could not soothe the tempest within, her sobs mingling with the wind that howled outside like a chorus of the lost, a lament for her shattered trust. Theo's apologies, carved into a piece of bark with shaking hands, were lost in the woods, their messages scattered by the breeze, his exile to a hunter's shack mirroring his isolation, a prison of his own making, his pleas unanswered and adrift like a leaf on a stream. Months later, Ruby learned through village gossip that drifted on the wind like a whisper of doom, a harbinger of further pain, that Theo and Mara continued their trysts in a hidden glade, its shadows concealing their sin, a revelation that reignited her rage like a furnace stoked in ale, a blaze that consumed her thoughts, while Allura revealed a family history of similar betrayals, a lineage stained with infidelity, their shared sorrow a bond that tightened with every tear that fell to the frozen ground, a pool of grief that deepened with each drop, a lake of lamentation that reflected their pain. Their bond deepened in the forge of their shared grief, a connection tempered by the fire of their pain that burned bright like a beacon in the snow, a light in the darkness that guided their way. But tensions rose as Ruby's fury toward Theo clashed with Allura's plea for forgiveness, a rift that tested their alliance with every heated exchange that filled the room with the crackle of tension. A sound like breaking branches. By 2030, Ruby and Allura shared the cabin, its walls a shelter for their healing that struggled to take root in the frozen soil of their hearts, a garden choked by frost that refused to bloom, each finding new love that offered fragile peace, a flicker against the cold that barely warmed their hands, a flame that flickered in the breeze of doubt, their voices a hesitant harmony that trembled in the air like a bird's first song after a storm, a sound that struggled to fill the silence that lingered like a ghost haunting the rafters, a specter that refused to leave, a presency that lingered in the corners of their minds, while Theo and Mara's relationship crumbled under the weight of scandal, their love a ruin buried in the undergrowth, a tombstone of their passion that marked their fall from grace. In 2100, descendants unearthed these logs, their pages yellowed and brittle like the bonds of the forest laid bare by time, a skeleton of the past, revealing a tormented salt tied to Blackthorn's lore, a narrative that spanned generations with every word etched in pain, a story written in blood and tears that stained the parchment, their legacy a thread in the fabric of the hollow that moved through time with every stitch that bound the tale. By 3000, a descendant, Miharo, led a reconciliation effort in a futuristic Blackthorn Hollow where cabinetches blended with crystalline trees that glittered like stars, a constellation of hope that shone in the night, fulfilling a legacy of healing with a heart heavy with the weight of the past, its burden a silent companion that walked beside her like a shadow cast by the moon, a constant reminder of the pain that shaped her while echoes of the affair lingered, shaping family dynamics across dimensions that stretched beyond the horizon like an endless forest that never ended. In the sprawling expanse of Blackthorn Hollow's evolving tale, Ruby's story grew into a legend whispered among the trees, her red cloak a symbol of resilience that fluttered in the breeze, a banner of survival. The woods whispered of her pain, their leaves rustling with the memory of her cry, and by 3100, Her descendants honored her with a forest shrine, its stones moss-covered and its light guided through the shadows, a beacon for those who followed. The narrative expanded as the years stretched into centuries, the hollow transforming into a place of pilgrimage where visitors retraced Ruby's path, their footsteps echoing her journey, a pilgrimage of healing. By 3200, the affair's tale inspired a series of oral traditions, each retelling adding layers of meaning, a story that grew with every voice that joined the chorus, a symphony of sorrow and redemption. The hidden camera became a relic, preserved in a museum of folklore, its lens a window into the past, an artifact that spoke of trust betrayed. In the 3300s, Blackthorn Hollow saw the rise of a healing order, its members tracing their lineage to Ruby, their rituals rooted in her pain, a covenant of forgiveness that spread through the land. The glade where Theo and Mara met became a site of reflection, its silence a space for contemplation, a sanctuary born from sin. By 3400, a holographic reenactment of the 536th Betrayal was staged annually, its audience moved to tears, a performance that bridged past and present, a bridge of light. The story influenced local governance with laws enacted to protect family bonds, a legacy of Ruby's lesson etched into the code of the land. In 3500, a descendant, Rowan Harrow, compiled a chronicle of the affair, its pages a testament to the Hollow's history, a book that became a cultural cornerstone. By 3600, the tale inspired a global movement for reconciliation, its principles adopted by distant colonies, a ripple that crossed planes. The Red Cloak was replicated in art installations, each thread a symbol of endurance, a gallery of resilience. In 3700, a virtual reality experience allowed users to walk Ruby's path, their emotions mirrored in a companion's, a journey of empathy. The affair's etches shaped interspecies diplomacy, with forest-dwelling races honoring the Pact of Peace, a treaty born from betrayal. By 3800, Blackthorn Hollow hosted a festival of healing, its lights a tribute to Ruby's legacy, a celebration that drew crowds from across dimensions. In the 3900s, the story influenced quantum ethics, its moral core embedded in a programming, a code of compassion. A descendant, Raye, led a council of healers, their decisions guided by the past, a governance of wisdom. By 4000, the Hollow's trees were engineered to glow with Ruby's story, their light a narrative in the night, a forest of memory. The Betrayal at 536 became a case study in emotional archaeology, its data analyzed by scholars, a dive into the soul. In 4100, a time capsule was buried, its contents a record of the affair, a message to the future. By 4200, the tale inspired a galactic opera, its arias sung by synthetic voices, a performance that moved stars. The glade was preserved as a heritage site, its silence sacred, a shrine of reflection. In 4300, Ruby's descendants launched a peace initiative, its reach spanning universes, a mission of unity. The camera lens was replicated in art, each copy a mirror of truth, a gallery of revelation. By 4400, the story shaped virtual education, its lessons taught in immersive classrooms, a curriculum of healing. In the 4500s, Blackthorn Hollow became a hub of emotional research, its woods a laboratory of the heart, a science of sorrow. A descendant, Raye, unveiled a monument of light, its beams narrating the tale, a beacon of hope. By 4600, the affair influenced interstellar law, its principles protecting bonds, a legal legacy. The Red Cloak was woven into flags, its color a symbol of resilience, a banner of strength. In 4700, a digital archive preserved every detail, its data a living history, a record that breathed. By 4800, the story inspired a movement of forgiveness, its tenets adopted by nations, a revolution of peace. The Hollow's paths were lined with memory stones, each a marker of the journey, a trail of healing. In 4900, a descendant, Rowan led a galactic council, their wisdom rooted in Rubis' pain, a leadership of empathy. The tale became a mythos, its characters archetypes in new cultures, a narrative that evolved. By 5000, Blackthorn Hollow was a pilgrimage site, its woods a cathedral of redemption, a sanctuary for the soul. In the 5100s, the story shaped interdimensional art, its themes explored in holograms, a gallery of emotion. A descendant, Riad, founded a healing academy, its curriculum drawn from the past, a school of compassion. By 5200, the affair influenced quantum communication, its lessons encoded in signals, a language of trust. The red cloak was replicated in fabrics across galaxies, its weave a symbol of endurance, a textile of hope. In 5300, a virtual reenactment became a global event, its viewers moved to action, a catalyst for change. By 5400, Blackthorn Hollow hosted a council of healers, their decisions shaped by Ruby, a governance of grace. The glade was a meditation site, its peace a gift of the past, a haven of calm. In 5500, the story inspired a literary renaissance, its pages a treasure, a library of healing. A descendant, Rowan AA, led a peace fleet, its mission rooted in the hollow, a voyage of unity. By 5600, the tale influenced amorality, its ethics a guide, a code of kindness. In the 5700s, Blackthorn Hollow became a center of emotional touch, its innovations born from pain, a science of the heart. A descendant, Riav, unveiled a healing network, its nodes a legacy, a web of compassion. By 5800, the affair shaped interspecies treaties, its principles a bond, a pact of peace. The red cloak was a cultural icon, its image an art, a portrait of strength. In 5900, a digital museum preserved the story, its exhibits a journey, a walk through time. By 6000, the tale inspired a galactic festival, its lights a tribute, a celebration of redemption. The hollow's trees were engineered with memory, their whispers a narrative, a forest of tales. In 6100, a descendant, Rauaniv, led a healing council, their wisdom a gift, a leadership of love. The story became a universal myth, its lessons eternal, a legacy that endured. By 6200, Blackthorn Hollow was a beacon, its light guiding the lost, a lighthouse of hope. In the 6300s, the affair influenced quantum art, its forms a reflection, a gallery of soul. A descendant, Riavi, founded a peace institute, its teachings from Ruby, a school of grace. By 6400, the tale shaped interstellar diplomacy, its principles a bridge, a connection of hearts. The red cloak was woven into tapestries, its threads a story, a fabric of resilience. In 6500, a virtual pilgrimage drew millions, its path a healing, a journey of peace. By 6600, Blackthorn Hollow hosted a reconciliation summit, its outcomes a legacy, a pact of unity. The glade was a sacred grove, its silence a gift, a sanctuary of calm. In 6700, the story inspired a cultural revival, its art a treasure, a renaissance of hope. A descendant, Rowan V, led a galactic mission, its purpose from the past, a voyage of healing. By 6800, the tale influenced evolution, its ethics a guide, a path of compassion. In the 6900s, Blackthorn Hollow became a hub of emotional science, its discoveries from pain, a study of the soul. A descendant, Riav, unveiled a healing grid, its light a legacy, a network of love. By 7000, the affair shaped interdimensional law, its principles a bond, a code of trust. The red cloak was a galactic symbol, its color a beacon, a flag of strength. In 7100, a digital chronicle preserved the tale, its data a history, a record of redemption. By 7200, the story inspired a universal festival, its joy a tribute, a celebration of peace. The Hollow's woods were a memory forest, their light a narrative, a tale of healing. In the end, Ruby's journey remained a living legacy, its etches shaping the cosmos, a story that grew with every heartbeat, a testament to the power of resilience in the face of betrayal.